Dear comrades, my name is Ryan McMullen, party member and an Edinburgh resident for the past 15 years. I wish to talk to you tonight about a cross-party campaign and other projects I have been involved in over the past few years. Firstly, I want to give you a bit of background about myself. I am originally from Belfast and after leaving school moved to Edinburgh to study, fell in love with the city and never left. I was born with cerebral palsy. This causes me to have slurred speech and sometimes I am a bit wobbly. I have always been a Labour voter, and I used to be one of those people on social media, ranting and raving on about the Tories. That is something we may or not have in common. It was on social media that I got involved with Inclusion Scotland, a consortium of organisations of disabled people. Their aim is to draw attention to the physical, social, economic, cultural and attitudinal barriers faced every day by disabled people in Scotland. They believe that engaging with politicians and politics is one of the best ways to break down these barriers. They created internships for disabled people working for MSPs, in the hope the MSPs and their teams would be more likely to change and influence policy by using their experience of working with a disabled person. In 2014 I was lucky enough to intern for Labour MSP Rhoda Grant and I have been hooked on the party ever since, advocating disability equality within the party. So this leads me on to 1 in 5. Last year a group of us, disability activists from the whole spectrum of political parties got together and created the campaign. I must admit that I was worried about getting photographed alongside Tories, but hell did not freeze over. The campaign's mission is to encourage, empower and increase political participation amongst disabled people in Scotland. As 1 in 5 people of working age in Scotland have a disability, we aspire to have political representation that reflects our society. Our aspiration is ambitious. It will take time and effort, but if political parties and organisations ensure meetings and materials are accessible whilst focusing on individual ability at a local level, we believe our aspiration is achievable. Since starting the campaign we have had our charter signed by political parties and organisations, local party branches and individuals. This charter asks that all members are asked about individual needs which are actioned to ensure inclusion. Meetings are held in accessible venues. Material is available in a variety of formats. Organizational tasks and responsibilities are clearly defined yet remain flexible enough to empower an individual member ability. Organizations aim to increase the awareness and understanding of issues affecting disabled people and strives to include and empower all members. All of these asks are pretty reasonable and easy to offer, though to the life of a disabled person they can be immense barriers in terms of social inclusion and civil participation. I strongly believe that this is at the heart of the Labour Party. From December 2015 to March 2016 I interviewed disabled Scottish Labour members from across the country, who all brought a wide range of knowledge. The aim was to ask them about their experiences as disabled people, and to bring together any ideas they had in how to make the party more accessible. Additionally, I was interested in coming up with solutions which will help disabled people stand for candidacy, ensuring that Scottish Labour as a party is representative of those who vote for them. It was an absolute pleasure talking and listening to the members. All were proud and enthusiastic who graciously gave me their time and thoughts. I published my report, not just chairs and stares, which includes recommendations. I have received an email from XIA to say the Scottish Executive Committee has asked the party to convene a working group to look into the feasibility and practical implementation of the recommendations contained in the report. She asked for me to be involved, which is exciting. Disabled people are used to being political pawns and being disproportionately affected by policies made by those who do not fully understand the consequences of their impact. We know that there is a bloc disabled vote that is not being tapped into, and we as a party should be listening to it and utilising it. I also believe that disabled people must stand for elected office. For too long we have let non-disabled people affect our lives by deciding on policy that more than often they do not understand. Disabled people make up 20% of Scotland's population. On that figure alone we should be rightly seeing 1 in every 5 people in elected office being openly disabled. Additionally, disabled people naturally tend to have a greater sense of empathy, which is vital for elected office. With that empathy we build a greater sense of problem-solving and adaptability from the way we deal with our impairments and barriers, making us excellent candidates for elected office. People have asked me what are the difficulties for someone who is disabled in standing for office. This is a very complex question, for each person's impairment makes their barrier different. For example, with my speech, I sometimes struggle to be taken seriously. We, as disabled people, all share the goal of solving and helping others to overcome their barriers. In saying that, I think attitudes are the biggest barriers that disabled people face. Non-disabled people measure themselves on their experience and education on paper, failing to realize why disabled people are often unable to build up those measures. Our experiences and insight gained through being disabled are never quantified or valued. Although society has a responsibility to change their attitudes, disabled people must start believing in themselves, make a stand, put themselves forward for elected office. If not, nothing will change for the better, for disabled people and ultimately for society. Thank you for listening. If you would like any more information on these projects, please do not hesitate to speak to me, or I'm only a click of a button away.